Hey everybody, Mr. Wallowitz here. Just want to talk to you today about another uh, country within the United States sphere of influence that is going to fall to communism. This one is going to hit a little bit closer to home, as Cuba is 90 miles off the south coast of Florida. Here we have the Cuban Revolution and Fidel Castro. Spanish colony. The first Spanish settlement was established in Cuba in 1511. Cuba slowly grew into a large world supplier of sugarcane. Wars for independence. In 1868 and 1879, Cubans made attempts, eventually unsuccessful, to gain their independence from Spain. In 1895, another attempt at independence began. In 1898, the United States joined the war on the side of the Cubans, the Spanish-American War. By December 1898, Spain gave up control of Cuba. Independence. The United States took control and ruled Cuba through a military government. By 1902, Cuba achieved full independence. However, the United States was still allowed to intervene, particularly in economic or foreign affairs. Many American companies, especially agricultural and sugar companies, operated in Cuba. Batista takes power. In 1933, Fulgencio Batista came to power in Cuba after a massive labor strike motivated by government corruption. During his 26-year rule, Batista implemented some progressive and social economic reforms, but later suspended these. Government corruption and brutality grew over time during his administration. The number of American companies operating in Cuba, particularly in the sugar industry, grew, and the United States supported Batista until 1958. Attack on Moncada Army Barracks. On July 26, 1953, Fidel Castro, who was educated as a lawyer and became part of a group critical of Batista, led an attack on the Moncada Army Barracks. The group became known as the 26th of July movement. Its goals were to overthrow Batista and carry out progressive reforms in Cuba. Castro was arrested and put in jail. He was released in 1955 and moved to Mexico to continue building support for his movement against Batista. The Cuban Revolution. In 1956, Castro and other members of the 26th of July movement snuck back into Cuba and established a base in the mountains. They quietly worked to build more support among the Cuban people. Starting in August 1958, Castro's armies surrounded major cities and cut off railroads and supply lines. On December 31st, Batista fled Havana, the capital city, and Castro took power. Visiting the United States. The Eisenhower government recognized Castro as the new leader of Cuba, and in April 1959, Castro visited the United States and met with Vice President Richard Nixon. The Bay of Pigs invasion, April 17, 1961. Relations between the United States and Cuba quickly soured. The United States grew skeptical of Castro. Castro banned foreign ownership of land in Cuba. Remember that many American companies owned agricultural land there, and took over privately owned business. In October 1960, a United States embargo of Cuba began. Americans were not allowed to sell anything to Cuba except for food and medicine. In April 1961, the CIA funded an invasion of Cuba to overthrow Castro. This is known as the Bay of Pigs invasion. The CIA-backed forces were quickly defeated by Castro's army. All of this is going to lead us to our central question for this assignment. How did Fidel Castro view the United States?